Brendan,
Yeah.
how are you?
Excited, but a little bit tired.
Excited, a little bit
A
tired.
little bit tired, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Tell us a little bit about your project.
All right, so what Pirate 3D does in our project is that what we want to do is that we have a dream because we love playing with 3D technology. We love these machines. And our dream is actually to bring this technology into everyone's home. We believe that if there is a great technology in this world, it should be affordable to everyone. Everyone should be able to access a life-changing technology. And this is what we do. So in essence, we have built a 3D printer meant for the home at a price point that we believe that is affordable to most people. That's in short what we do.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And whose idea was?
That's interesting. Whose idea was it? The long story or the short story?
Short story or long story?
Okay, medium story. How it actually worked was that my buddies and I, Eugene, Roger, who are not here today, and we were actually playing around with 3D printers because we needed to build prototypes for a project. So what we experienced was that most of the 3D printers on the market were a little bit hard to use. They were difficult to set up, really long. It was terrible. We prayed a lot. It was bad. So once we did that, we thought, hey, why don't we use 3D printers as a service model to help other students to print their prototypes for business competitions, for engineering prototypes, what have you. And then one day we were sitting around discussing it with my other co-founder, Prof. Neo, and he was saying, with all your suggestions in mind, why don't you just build a 3D printer? And we were like, yeah, you know what, that's a great idea. And we just rolled with that. Yeah.
That's amazing. And whose idea was to get on Kickstarter?
That's another interesting one. I think what we were talking about is that we actually didn't consider Kickstarter as a means to us, but we actually read about it somewhere, and we saw the Pebble, which was like, I think at that time, like 10 million on Kickstarter. And we're like, wow, this website is great, right? If you can make it on here, you can, it's pretty much validation in a sense of your idea and your project. So we thought, okay, hey, let's just go give it a try. Yeah, so that's how we went on.
So a few people here in the room may think like, okay, just give it a try. Tell us like preparation that goes behind launching a successful Kickstarter campaign.
All right, now that's a very long story. Okay, I think the first part is called the boring part, right? Which is like the administration, because as a Singapore company, you cannot go onto Kickstarter. So we actually opened an American sub. We have a friend there who helped us out, and from there, that's how we actually got on. That's the short of it, right? It took like 4 months to get us onto Kickstarter, administration-wise. But if you're talking about preparation for that, the first thing I think is we had to get the word out of the product that we were doing. So we went onto tech blogs. We just let the news out that we were making a 3D printer that was affordable for the home. But I thought we were quite fortunate at that time because it was at pretty much the peak of the hype cycle, and everyone was wondering how long will it take before 3D printers came to the home. Maybe they were saying like 5 years, 10 years, and we were saying like, no, it's this year, right? So we came out and they were pretty interested in it, and we generated a lot of likes and buzz on our pages because we don't have a very corporate image. Like when they're saying like, oh, it's fake, it's renders. I don't know if many of you saw our blog post that, we put one of our buddies there with the Nyan cat and the Velociraptor and Iron Man and be like, no, look, it's legit, right? So the thing is that the community likes that kind of things, and that generated a lot of buzz. So by the time we actually got into Kickstarter, we had about like, okay, it's not a lot, but about like 5,000 likes on Facebook, and a lot of people waiting for it. And I think that's how it really helped us to hit that goal in a really short period of time.
Really interesting. Well, it's really interesting to see that in 10 minutes you guys raised $100,000, right?
Yeah, that's right.
How could that happen? $100,000 all of a sudden, like in 10 minutes? Tell us a little bit, like between like what happened 1 day before, 2 days before, like how you scheduled that?
Well,
did you schedule it, or you just it was just sheer luck, or give us more insights? We want to know more.
All right. So one of the things that people might think of is that we ask our friends and family, but here's the thing. None of us actually targeted any friends or any family on this project. So every single sale that you see, came from the real market. So how we did it was that while a couple of weeks, the campaign actually started about a couple of weeks before our Kickstarter. So we just let everyone know, check out our product, it's pretty cool, it's better than most of the things you find on the market, it's affordable. And then a week before that, we told them, all right, if you come on early, because usually at Kickstarter, you offer a special rate for people who come on early, like an early bird price kind of thing. So we told them, all right, for the first come, first serve, it'll be slightly cheaper than the other batches on Kickstarter. So I think, if you have an interesting product and people already want to buy it and they think your price point is cheap, it's low, right, and then you tell them, all right, there's going to be a slight discount, the way people are. They're like, all right, man. I don't know how some of them backed on our Kickstarter. The first sale happened in like 30 seconds. It's not even physically possible for you to actually key in your credit card details in 30 seconds, but I don't know how that guy did it. Really. I'm going to ask him. I know his name. I'm going to ask him how he did it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's interesting because I've seen and I backed up some of the Kickstarter projects there. Do you think that you had a good marketing glitch, like for the first how many 200 printers or 300 printers you were giving for $247? Is that?
Yeah, it was about 360 printers.
360 printers
yeah.
for 20. And you think that really helped generate the hype to go to the next stage, or?
Yeah, I definitely think that generated the hype. Honestly, without that, we were actually getting a lot the week before when we actually released the official pricing, which is the one without the early bird. There were a lot of people that were already interested, but I think that really helped to to really drive the early momentum forward to kick off the Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I bought a regular printer for $150. I'd like to buy that to $250, a 3D printer. Interesting. The Kickstarter, it's been for many people a platform. Why not Indiegogo? Why not Rocket Hub? Or why not Crowdonomic? Or
it's a bit sensitive topic, right? Isn't it?
We'll talk about it.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about it. Okay, we'll talk about it. Okay, so this is an opinion, okay? My opinion. All right, so please, just relax. Don't worry. Just relax. I think why Kickstarter is because Kickstarter is really pretty much, in truth, the biggest crowdfunding platform. But the reason for it is because, it can generate the largest, in a sense, buzz around it and things like that. Talking in a more macro reason is that because Kickstarter is based mainly in the USA, and crowdsourcing, as much as we want to believe it, is really a Western concept. A lot of people in Asia, they tell, oh my God, you're going to put your printer and tell them everything about it? If you give away all your secrets, then how are you going to run a business, right? So that is the Asian, the more Asian mindset. And we were like, all right, we're fine with that, right? We're fine with being honest with whatever we have. We're fine just bearing everything and showing people. So we thought, okay, Kickstarter should be the right way to go. Because if you have a great product, you want a great platform to pair along with it. Yeah, so that's why.
Absolutely. Was your idea to do a Kickstarter to raise money or to raise money and to build a tribe and to build a whole ecosystem for your next thing?
All right, okay. That's a good question. We actually want to build the entire ecosystem for 3D printing. And I think that is why it has generated quite a lot of following on our Kickstarter page and our Facebook page, because what our company represents is that we are more than just a machine. A lot of people just focus on the hardware, but it's not just about the hardware. It's about the user experience, how easy it is to use the hardware, the support community that follows with it. And on Kickstarter, these people are, like you say, kind of tribe-ish. So in a sense, you're right that we want to build, not only we want to get funding for our project, but we also want to build a strong community behind us. So for future developments, they are very willing to help. An interesting concept in this is that people don't understand the concept of open source or don't appreciate it. But people like on Kickstarter, these guys are really good at what they do, these hackers, these makers. And when you put a project up and you're honest with what you have, they actually share with you what they want for the next product. And they teach you how to do it. So in a sense, they do your dev for you. They show you this is what the market more or less wants. So in a way, on a business strategy point of view, it makes a lot of sense to build a community and also go for funding at the same time.
Great. I'm not going to question you more, but I'm going to open up to the audience here, and I'm sure they have a lot of questions. One, I'll ask the audience, because we promised that we'll give a 3D printer when it's ready, from Crowdsourcing Week. we'll ask the very first question that goes on Twitter, CSW13 hashtag gets a 3D printer. And while we get that, we'll also get a question here.
So basically he's doing the same thing as us on Kickstarter.
Exactly.
Early bird gets
Exactly. Well, we wanted to raise more money for Pirate 3D, and I think put the hashtag of CSW13 and also put the hashtag of crowdfunding, and let's get this running and put the Pirate 3D here. So, anyone question here while we get the questions in the on Twitter? I guess everyone is now on Twitter.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Anuj, and congratulations. Just wanted to understand, after the analysis of where the funding is coming from, do you have any insights on that, people who funded, what percentage came from US or from Singapore or Asia?
Yes, we do. So what exactly about it do you want to know?
I just wanted to know that where the bulk of funding came from. Is it because Kickstarter is very US
right, that's
focused?
right. And of course, the most of the bulk funding came from the USA.
From US.
USA, Canada, and we have quite a few from Australia and Singapore. But the reason for this is that I don't know if the information I'm giving you is a bit skewed, because these are where the maker communities are for 3D printers.
Okay.
So it's only natural that funding will come from these areas. But we have had orders from, I don't even know these countries ever existed, but so I don't know how I'm going to ship it to them. Maybe I need to fly in on a military helicopter or something, I don't know.
So it was aligned with the community building effort that you had, like you were building your community, say, around Singapore and Asian markets, but still the funding mostly came from US tribe or community that...
Actually, the community that we are building, how should I put it this way, is that I don't think there is boundaries anymore where community is concerned. So we are actually just building a community no matter where they are from, and the bulk of this community comes from the States. Because I don't know how to, how should I put this? Because I think they're just a little bit sick, right, of companies that go in and, they're all for profit, and, they have like a really corporate stance on things. And most of them actually have asked, if they could join us or they could help us with the community, because our stance is that, for sustainable profits, like, you can earn a living, but you don't have to be greedy. So I think that's what actually builds a strong community behind you. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Any other questions, or they're all coming through Twitter? Okay, got a question from Sean Moffat. He's the first one who...
I'm a really bad typist.
Are you Sean? Oh, hi.
His question is, how have you given feedback to your fans on Kickstarter after raising the money?
How we have given them feedback.
There seems to be a thing on Kickstarter where, once these people get the money, they start rushing ahead to make the product, and they kind of forget some of the people that obviously donate the money.
Okay.
Now they've got so many people, that must be a big challenge in terms of keeping them involved and engaged.
All right. Okay. So what we have is that, of course, we have our updates that reaches all the people in the community, but we take it very seriously. We do 24-hour shifts to ensure that every single question, every single comment, every single email is answered in, at the most, a couple of hours. Yeah, so I think that is just something that you have to give back to them, and I think that has gotten us quite a lot of goodwill from the community, honestly, and they're always commending us on our very fast customer reply and our customer support. And I think that's very important in building a community.
Can I ask you a follow-up? It seems like you're a very likable, kind of just honest, out-there guy. Is part of the success on Kickstarter being like a real person as opposed to some kind of an entity that has...
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly the crux of it. If you come across as a company, if you come across as an entity that has no soul, it's probably going to fail. Really. I mean, that is the reality of how it is on Kickstarter, on most crowdfunding platforms, that they want to see someone real, they want a lot of honesty, and they want a lot of integrity. So if a person is not ready for that level of sharing, then I don't think that funding is for them.
It's building transparency. The other question that I have is which came at the same time, so I don't know, Sean, you have to split your 3D printer.
You're battling each other to death.
No.
Just print a printer with it.
Just to print the printer, I like that. Next question came from Lawrence Smith, and he said, what's the future of 3D printing and what dangers do you see? Well, what dangers do you see? I mean, yeah.
Okay, the future of 3D printing. Do you want like the near future or the future?
Well, if we have time, we'll do both.
Okay, all right. Then I
Okay.
might as well start at the future. So you know where this is heading. The future, the real end of 3D printing is really what they call a universal assembler, where you have a machine that will sit in your house as big as your room, and out from it will come every single thing that you ever need to use in your life. No, really. Because now you have metal 3D printers, right? You have ceramics, they 3D printed a kidney, you can 3D print a car, you can 3D print pretty much anything. But all that the industry is waiting is for someone to be able to combine everything together into one big one to, to bring the future forward. Yeah. So that's at the end of
Interesting. I was 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago in December in Le Web, and the host was the city of Paris, and the food that they were catering was like a food that they were putting from a components, and they were talking about the future of food. As a matter of fact, this is really a reality. I think we will see more and more. Today it's very simple. You see this 3D printing in a very simple products and objects, but
yeah.
I think the future has. But how dangerous it is. That's one thing.
That's a good
can
question.
Can you make a pistol?
Yeah.
And kill
That's one
someone?
question we always get, right? Can you make guns? Yeah, you can. All right, you can. You can make the low receiver, because with a 3D printer you can make anything you want, right? You could build a missile if you wanted to. I don't know how, but you probably could. But I think the regulation comes in a sense that eventually you're going to see some regulation regarding 3D printers. That when 3D printers get to the state that you could actually print functioning weaponry, in a sense, that you would see a regulation that will probably prevent you from printing anything of its like. You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
even if I could print a gun, right, I could print bullets, then where am I going to find the gunpowder? In a sense, there will always be some components that you won't have that will prevent you from doing something like that.
Yeah, maybe it's the military ships having 3D printed for making bullets.
Pardon, sir?
Military ships
Yeah.
having 3D printed to make bullets.
Oh yeah,
maybe?
that would be smart. Actually, one of the military things that they are actually looking at, from what I heard, right, is that they want to put it on a tank, and so that in combat, when you have vehicles that have parts blown off, you just have to 3D print the titanium. I have seen a titanium 3D printer, and you just replace the parts. I was like, man, this is amazing. This is like computer games now, right? You just press the button and you get a part. It's like, wow. All right, it's amazing.
Give me a year when that's going to happen.
Now, whoa, there is a machine like that can do it now.
Wow.
But if you're going to look in terms of home, give it maybe 5 to 8 years.
Wow. Well, it's exciting, but it's also scary at the same time.
Scary for some
It's
industries,
also
I think.
scary for governments and institutions and how they're going to regulate all of this. And this is exactly what we're talking here. We're crowdsourcing week here. We're not here to scare people. We're coming here. We come and we bring the brightest minds like you and everyone else here who spoke from day one to really share their knowledge and their wisdom of what it's coming. Because what is coming is inevitable. What is coming, you can't ignore it. You have to embrace it. And we've seen that yesterday with the governments, and we're seeing today with the crowdfunding and new business models. So give me wrap it up. Like what's next for you, and what do you see for Kickstarter to your campaign to be raised? I think we will see $1 million plus.
Yeah, we're hoping for $1
Right,
million
we're-
plus.
Plus.
Well, I mean, whatever it will go, right? Whatever it will go, we hope
So
for
this
that.
is considered the Asia's largest crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, I believe so.
This is amazing. It's so amazing. It came at such a right time to do crowdsourcing week too. How amazing is that? God is great, huh?
Yeah, we were quite surprised too. We were pleasantly surprised.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I won't take longer of your time because I know you have to go and answer those emails. But one great thing that we learned from a gentleman over here, that for doing a Kickstarter campaign or a crowdfunding campaign, to schedule your emails, the Boomerang. Are you familiar with Boomerang?
Oh yeah, I've heard about it.
Of course. If you start a Kickstarter, you do the crowdfunding. Boomerang is the plugin that you plug it into your email and Gmail, and it makes you help you do that. So, again, help me congratulate Brendan for such a great starter, and Lawrence, you'll get a printer as well too. How's that? Great. Thank you.